Well, greetings, Pipe Pals. How's it all going? Holy Smoking Pipe Padre with my September video. You probably thought I forgot. And first of all, let us do just a little bit of the lay housekeeping here. This is one of my old Dunhills. This pipe has been, I call it my companion pipe. This cherry wood was the very first cherry wood that I ever bought. It's got a softy bit on there, a very old, yucky softy bit, but oh well, it's seasoned. Let's see here. And I'm trying to, maybe I can use this as a little, unfortunately, packed the old pipe a little too tight tonight, Pipe Pals. Oh my goodness, that did not work. I'll have to edit this out. I got some things up here. And those are, oh my goodness. Let's see here. Alrighty, that should do it. Still kind of a tight draw. Maybe we can use the old pipe cleaner trick. Yeah. You're not supposed to do this when the pipe is hot, but the old draw is just not what it used to be, you know what I mean? Draw, Pilgrim, draw. Okay. That probably worked. Okay. Okay. Now I've been out of practice for a while. Well, how y'all doing? Again, I'm smoking one of my wonderful cherry wood. I got it at my beloved briar patch in Arden Fair Mall many years ago. Unfortunately, the briar patch at Arden Fair Mall is just a memory, sad to say. Well, it's been about, again, a month. I've been doing these monthly videos because that's about all I can really commit to. I still want to keep a presence on my channel, and I'm really, I'll tell you more about it in a moment, but just really been super busy. And this is the very first time I've had a chance to really enjoy a pipe since the last video I had. Excuse me, and it's the first time I've actually smoked in the rectory. And I am smoking, those of you who are interested in such things. This is that, what was this? Pina Colada, I think it was, from Tinderbox. That I got in Reno. I went there about about 2 months ago. And I found a Tinderbox, one of the few that's even in existence. And was able to get this, believe it or not, this Dunhill. And I think I told you that I almost feel about really guilty because of the wonderful things these are. Anyway, Yeah, this is a root briar. I think it's a very, very expensive in the state pipe. Amber root briar, I think this is. Anyway, and the guy let me take it for $85. So those of you who are Dunhill aficionados, even an estate Dunhill, this one here is incredible. And then at first I thought, okay, maybe it's like a fake Rolex, you know? And so that's what I kind of thought when I got home. But I actually looked, and it's a true Dunhill. At the bottom there, I don't know if you can, it'll focus. Are you gonna focus? Probably not. I don't know if it'll focus or not. Maybe it will. Yeah. Anyway, so it wasn't somebody just put a stem with a little white dot on it and said, "Oh yeah, it's a Dunhill." It was the real deal. Drinking some Black Rifle coffee, don't you know? In fact, that's my first kind of major food group today. It's about 7:30 p.m. obviously here in Tahoe City. And so I'm making this new video and I'm using some new stuff here. Don't know if you can kind of tell. Hold on a second. A lot of YouTubers, you know, the more professional ones, they use special lights, like the one I'm using right here. You can't see it, but you can definitely tell by that. That is true natural light, and this is now studio light. So hopefully it'll help a little bit. Maybe you'll even see a little ring in my eyes if they're not too far gone. My eyes are. So anyway, I'm here. It's Friday evening. We're waiting for a storm to come in, some rain and some snow. We had snow last week at the higher elevations. Maybe I'll play a little video of that up on Mount Rose, which is about 9,000 feet, maybe 10,000. And so anyway, it's kind of exciting because I'm going to be going through my very first full-length winter here in Lake Tahoe. A lot of winter nights to smoke a pipe and drink coffee and tea and stuff. I've been moving in for the last 2.5 months. And it's just been a lot of work, personally and pastorally. I have three facilities that I oversee. A mission church. I'll put a little picture there of Queen of the Snows there. I was there tonight. There was a gathering of diocesan lawyers with the bishop from Reno. He actually taught me canon law when I was a young lad. He goes, "Man, that was 27 years ago." I said, yeah, it was hard to believe. So anyway, the bottom line was that I needed to open up the church over there in Squaw Valley. It's in Squaw Valley. Beautiful Squaw Valley. And so anyway, after they were all done, I locked everything up and came back home. And I've been wanting to make this video and try out this new light and just see how it is to make a video inside, kind of a new ambiance, you know, a new place to make videos. And sometimes things are just different. You know, I got to find the right background sometimes. In fact, I might even think about moving. I mean, I like the outdoor backgrounds. Most of my homily videos now, I'm making them outside in the beauty of nature. I started doing that about a year ago. You know, I as much as I love my green screen and doing all the fun special effects that I like to do from time to time, I don't, have the time to invest in, maybe doing extra fun things that like that last video I think I did about the aliens, the people that were going to storm Area 51. I don't think that worked out too well. This is the 27th. And they were supposed to storm, I think, on the 20th, so that was like a week ago. I guess a week ago today. Anyway, it didn't work out the way most people thought it would. So, that is what it is. I didn't think it was going to come to anything. But it was interesting. I don't know about you, but, some people believe in extraterrestrial life, and some people don't, and some people could care less. I just think it's fascinating. I think it's fun. Just want to say a few shout outs there to the Gentleman Scholar. Gary was very kind to send me a couple cards. I got to find them and maybe open them up. Sorry, Gary. Gary makes great cards, and I don't throw them away. I just put them, I say, I'm going to, if I don't get a chance to open it and enjoy it, I just put it off to the side. Now, in my other place, I have my little pipe stuff. I don't really have a little pipe station. Oh, shoot. Doggone it. Somebody gave us this beautiful, I don't know how old this tablecloth is, but it's very, very, it was a family heirloom, and they said, oh gosh, you have one of those big fancy tables in your rectory. Would you like to have this tablecloth? I said, well, that's very thoughtful, and yes, we would use it. So I put it out the other day, and it's very nice, and it's kind of a throwback to a time when there was a real family around the table, and people had the big fancy dining room tables. Well, this is one of those, and anyway, so I got a little smudge of charcoal on there or something, So, but where was I going with all that? Oh, I guess backgrounds, and and Gary's cards. That's it, right? Sorry, Gary. But I had a little stash, a little station that I'd put all if I got new pipes or say some like new cigars. I said, I've been out over there at the Stogie place. There was a Bidwell Cigars, and then they closed, and then about a couple of years later, somebody brought back a cigar shop there, which was nice. And every now and then, it was right next to my bank, so maybe once in a blue moon, not every time, but once in a blue moon, I'd stop and buy a cigar. And I kept thinking, well, I'm gonna get a couple of cigars to celebrate with when I get back to either Chico when I was still living there, or when I get up here. So I have a little box that I haven't lost. It's amazing because sometimes I lose things. So, but what I'm trying to say is I had like this little station in the house where I'd put my pipe and video making stuff. And if I got a card from Gary or a little box from somebody, I'd put it there and say, no, next video I'm going to open this on my video. So anyway, I had a couple cards from Gary, and unfortunately, they're not lost. I just kept moving them to different. I said, okay, I want to keep that. I don't want to lose it. And then unfortunately, like I said, I was going to make this video, and I got down here and said, oh, I'll do a little card opening and some other things. And then all of a sudden I realized, oh, I'm just setting this up for the very first time. So that's wonderful. That's nice. So anyway, taking a time out and enjoying a little pipe with you all. Lake Tahoe. I don't know. One of these days I'll get some drone footage. I have yet to do that. But anyway, be able to get some pictures, Lake Tahoe literally is that way, as I'm pointing, this way. And although this isn't shorefront property, if you had a good baseball arm from the parking lot, you could probably put the ball in the water, no problem. Because right across the street is the shoreline property, and right there is Lake Tahoe. So in the mornings, the sun comes up this way, and so I get up with my coffee and I sit, and I enjoy the sun coming through the trees, and I can see a little glimpse of Lake Tahoe and the sun glistening on the water, and it's just really charming. It's a really nice place to live. I've been so busy with getting to know all the new parishioners, and there's just a lot of work to be done here. There's just a lot of maintenance things that I have kind of, they just fell to me to do. And so I've got some people that are helping me, but for the most part, I don't have a full-time groundskeeper person, a facilities manager like I had back at my other parish. And, if there was a problem with the plumbing, or there's a problem with the electrical, the air conditioner went on the fritz, or the lights went bad, Dan and this other guy, Rich, those guys were awesome. And, they took care of it. So it's a full-time job. So I don't have someone like that now. So I get to be kind of a part-time handyman, and I'm not all that, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not all that brilliant when it comes to home handy repairs, home repair, but I'm learning, and I have enough skill to where if it's something I know I need to call help, I call help. Last week we had a crisis. We had a pipe that had burst last year, I guess, or whenever, and you weren't supposed to use it, and unfortunately somebody used it, and it started flooding the downstairs. We have like a little parish hall downstairs underneath the rectory, and so that was a real crisis. That was an interesting crisis. So it just never stops. You think you're going to get some time to maybe go through things and organize things, and I still have yet to move in. I've been moving in bits and pieces, but I still have another, about 10 or 12 big, cases and, cargo containers that I got to unload, and personal stuff just has to take a back seat for the most part when you've got other problems and issues. So anyway, that's part of what's going on. And so to kind of be able to, have a little bit more personal time to do things that I'd like to do, that's kind of, like I said, it takes a back seat to other things. So anyway, making videos, as much as I like making videos, I just have to carve out time. And also the other thing too is I'm finding that in the evenings, after a long full day, I'm a little too tired. It's like, I like playing with the technology and cameras. I got some new cameras and other little gadgets that I wanted to play with and say, oh, let me try this little camera to do this and those kinds of things. And so I just haven't had a chance to really sit down and kind of figure things out, because a lot of the technology stuff is all kind of hooked to your phone now. Everything is just changed, and it's continually changing, So there you have it. That's good. I'm actually surprised that this is not burning. And I haven't had a pipe in probably over a month, and usually I get tongue bite real bad, especially with cheap tobaccos or the aromatic tobaccos that are just too aromatic, and unfortunately those will burn my tongue very fast. The old dragon's breath, the angel's breath, dragon's fire. So let me get another sip of coffee here. A little update on my kitty cat, Elsie. Those of you who are wondering about Elsie. I'm sad to say that I don't know what happened exactly, but she has not come home in over 2 months. And sad to say, it was very, very hard to acknowledge the fact that, this is this is semi-wild country up here. It's not residential. I mean, there are residential homes, nestled in the forest. But the other night, I heard elk doing mating calls at 1 o'clock in the morning. And then 5:30 in the morning, there was a pack of coyotes or wolves that were howling and yelping and howling and right out my bedroom window. It's just the sounds of nature. And that's just life. And although I didn't realize quite how close the nature was, unfortunately, and my little kitty was doing really good for the first month. She would go outside and run around, then she'd come back and have her dinner or whatever, and then she'd go back out. And anyway, so she just loved it up here. She just, I had got some footage of her, she was looking like a little mountain lion and just loving it, just absolutely loving it. I mean, she was an indoor-outdoor cat at my other place, and so I just felt that it wasn't good to just keep her pent up. And I just thought, well, as long as she comes back, and I mean, if I left her out for a day or two, that kind of thing, that would be irresponsible. And I wasn't going to do that. So I would keep waiting for her to come back. And then one night she didn't really come back. And I don't even know what happened. All I know is that she didn't come back the next morning. And then I kept waiting. Well, people said, well, cats, they wander away and they, maybe they'll be back in a day or two, and nothing. So I have to tell you that about 4 weeks ago, I decided to go out and get another little cat companion, and her name is Betty. That was her name when I got her. And I wasn't too keen on the name at first, but it kind of grew on me. I was going to try to call her something. I was going to call her BB, Betty Bear. And I'll put some pictures of Betty here in a minute. But anyway, she's a sweet little cat, and she's a lot more cuddly than the other cat was. My other Elsie was a nice cat, but she just kind of had her, she was more of a, I'm going to hang out with you, or, you can feed me, and I'll let you do all these things for me, and I'll be your cat. But she wouldn't really want to jump up on my lap. I don't think that cat ever jumped up on my lap once, which is okay. I mean, she was kind of, she had her moments, but she wasn't a very cuddly cat. So that's okay. Some cats are like that. And, but she's a wonderful little kitty, and I loved her dearly. But then, but this little cat went to a rescue place, animal shelter. And, this little cat just jumped up in my lap and just kind of took a nap. And then I put this little cat down and tried to, talk to some other cats, and there were a couple of them that were really cute, but they weren't very, their temperament wasn't. Then this little black cat came back again, jumped over, kind of got in my lap and curled around and went back to sleep again. And I'm like, oh, okay, so like I said, I spent about an hour in this little kitty cat kitten barn or whatever it was they called it. And but this cat was just super friendly. And Elsie was very skittish of people. She took to me, but she just wasn't a very social animal. And but this little cat, she's very friendly. She's just not afraid of people. And she just, boy, if I'm watching TV, then she's right there, and she's just sleeping. And I'm just, so it's kind of nice. And then she likes to sleep in the bed and everything. So I'm just really happy. I got another little cat. So, and her name is Betty. So you're Betty. Anyway, I'll get some pictures of Betty. Maybe I'll be putting some pictures of Betty right here now, so you can see little Betty, the kitty. Betty kitty, yeah. So what else is going on? as far as pipes go and tobaccos and all that good stuff, this is my latest acquisition, as I showed you earlier. And again, there is a briar patch in Reno. I was going to say Reno, California. See if anybody caught that one. In Reno, California. But I haven't been back there. I would like very much to take my collection again after about, 4 or 5 years now, and have them polished up, because they look so wonderful when they're all polished up and in their little case there and in their little rack. Last time I did that was when I was in Good Shepherd, which was like 5 years ago. But I remember it took Sean a long time to clean them because I had too many. But they sure looked beautiful when they came back, just beautiful, gleaming and polished. But you know, the problem is that I don't have the facility to do that. Now maybe I'll try one more time in my old age. I have a nice garage basement, so maybe I could set up a little workstation and do some of that. I don't know. But anyway, so I haven't had a chance to get to the other, that tinderbox and check it out. It seemed like a very nice store, kind of on the small side. Actually, when you think about that humidor, I think I took some videos of that and shared it with you. The humidor was pretty good size. It was very similar to the briar patch down in Lowman Center. So anyway, it was a nice store, and again, I just hope that they don't close up. You know, unfortunately, a lot of these wonderful things like pipes and other things that people like, unfortunately, they become politically incorrect, and then they get outlawed. So again, trying to set up, you know, just kind of a similar, you know, set up the things like lights and stereos, and or at least music and computers and things like that. And you know, for me, I like my computers. I like to be able to create my videos, whether it's on my other channel or this channel. And you know, but it takes time to set things up, and some of the things I have to do are just very simple now. And I just, you know, use my iPhone and tripod, and sometimes I have a second, an older iPhone that I use for the audio portion. I didn't use any audio this time because I just don't have time to fool with it. And plus, I was trying to work with this new light ring thing. I've always wanted one of these, and saw this about a couple of weeks ago at Best Buy, and I said, you know, I think I'm going to get me one of them. So there we go. Hopefully it brings a better picture. But anyway, uh-oh.
Same to you.
Oh, I guess I said some word that it sounded like, you know what? So I won't say that word, because if I say that word, it'll stop and it'll, anyway, so. Unfortunately, my fitness and health have not been so good. As you can probably tell, I've gained weight again, and I'm really struggling with some other issues, and I need to go see a doc, you know, but I'm up here and it's all new, and I don't know who to go see, so I got to go find. I just found a doctor in Chico, of all places, and when I was there just before I left, and then I, you know, like 2 months before, and now obviously that's 3 hours away, so I got to find somebody local, and I haven't had a chance to do that. Again, it takes some time to do those things, you know. Getting established is, and up here, even though this is a beautiful place to, you know, vacation, and if you can live here, it's wonderful to live here, but a lot of things that you might take for granted in a bigger metropolitan area, It's kind of a little bit of kind of a eye-opening experience, because a lot of services you don't have locally. You have to go to the furthest town. For me, that's either Carson City or Reno. And again, I like Carson City, I like Reno, I have nothing against those, but they're like 45 minutes away. So, you know, if you want to go to like a box store, whether it's Best Buy or Staples or Trader Joe's, all the goodies things, you gotta kind of plan it. It's kind of like, you know, the old days when you'd go into town, you'd put the mule on the wagon, you know, hitch up the wagon to the mule of the wagon, and you giddy up, you know, and you'd head into town. Kind of like that. You get in the old truck and you head into town. So sometimes, you know, I get there maybe once a week when I can, and that's nice. I like it, but you got to really I got to plan on things. So now with the snow and the winter weather coming, things are going to be a lot different. So I probably need to start thinking now, literally, about stocking up on stuff, because once the roads get snowed, I may not be able to get down there for a while. Now don't get me wrong, we have grocery stores. There's a Save Mart just a mile down the road. There's a Safeway out on the other end of town, and lots of little restaurants. So, you know, I'm not going to starve to death, that's for sure. But you know, things like if you need something from Best Buy, or you needed something from Staples, you needed a new printer or whatever, you know, you're going to have to plan on going. And it's a beautiful drive, don't get me wrong. Driving to Highway 28 along the lake is just absolutely just drop dead gorgeous, beautiful. You can't complain. Even when you get in traffic jams, they have these little, we call them cone seasons, where they do a lot of maintenance on the roads before the winter sets in, and they've been doing a whole bunch of that to, you know, make the roads safer, I guess, during winter. And we've also put in another roundabout down here. So, you know, it sometimes, you know, you get stuck in a traffic jam, and it's just like, oh man, you know, it's an inconvenience. There's no way else to say it, but it's kind of a necessary thing. So you just take it for what it is, and you just kind of deal with it. So that's what we kind of do. So, but anyway, so getting set up in a new locale, it takes time. And that's one of the reasons why I probably haven't been making videos like I used to. Because again, like I said, I had a kind of a little video setup. I had a couple places where I could either put up a green screen, or I'd go in my little Caledonian room. Those of you might remember my Caledonian room from a couple years ago. In my other room, in a Good Shepherd with my angels. Now my angels, I'm happy to say, are back in a real Catholic chapel, you know, holding candles and doing what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be holding the candles for Holy Mass. So instead of them just being like little, you know, keepsakes of mine, which they were in a chapel at one time where I lived by myself. And then I went to another place with a real church and couldn't really use them in the other church. It just didn't work. And so anyway, but we have a small little chapel. One of these days I'll give you a room tour once things are kind of more set up. I'm still trying to put everything where it needs to go. And I've been going through and cleaning out a lot of stuff and getting rid of a lot of stuff. It's time to do that. So instead of, you know, just boxing things up and putting them in a closet and not really, you know, saying, okay, do I really use this anymore? Do I need any more? And if I don't, I have to get rid of it. I'm just trying to really be pretty hard on myself this time, because, you know, the next time I move, I just don't want to have to go through what I've done for the last, you know, 45, 50 years of my life, you know, packing up. And, you know, I'd like to make a very simple move when I finally move the next time, hopefully. So the way I do that now is by getting rid of a lot of stuff that I don't need. So, and now this place has a lot of really nice appointments, I'll have to say. It's very beautiful, and there's a lot of nice things here. There's, again, some of them are kind of a throwback. They're older things. I don't have a problem with that. I know some people would probably want to just get rid of all this old stuff and not use it, but I want to keep it. I want to shine it up and clean it up and use it, you know, because it would be a shame to throw some of this stuff out. It is older, but it's it's kind of antique-y, but I like it. You know, it's just like my little 1950s kitchen at our Divine Savior. A lot of people got so disappointed with me because I didn't want to remodel the kitchen. I said, I don't want to remodel the kitchen. I want to preserve that 1950s kitchen. It was like a perfect 1950s kitchen, and I loved it. And so anyway, so that's why, you know, some people were like, well, why don't you just tear out all this old stuff and get new stuff? And I said, well, one, you know, I don't want the parish to have to spend all that money because it'd be an awful lot of money. And I said, I like it the way it is. To me, it made me feel at home. You know, it almost was very, it was almost reminiscent of the very first kitchen that I remember as a kid. You know, it was very similar to that. So I was very happy. Once I learned how to do that minimalist thing and get the counters all cleared out. Now, this has some stuff here. This was actually left here before I got here. So I use that as kind of like a potpourri cooker thing, you know. So sometimes when I have people in and, you know, especially now that I'm smoking my pipe, I probably need to do more of that now. But anyway, so I kind of digress. So let me get my pipe going again. Okay, well, you know, I don't have much more to say. I was gonna go ahead and, you know, wade into some of the political stuff real quick. I mean, it's no surprise that we're talking impeachment time again. I mean, they've been talking impeachment for the last, you know, 3.5 years. And you all know where I stand. You know, I was gonna say that basically this whole back and forth with the Democrats and the Republicans and President Trump and Nancy Pelosi and people like that. It's you know what it's like? It's like this ongoing dramatic TV show. That's all it is. I'm sorry to say. That's just what it comes down to. I mean, I mean, you know, folks, I'm going to say this, and you know, and if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. But those of you who really hate President Trump, you know, all I can say is God bless you. But all I'm going to tell you is that at this point, unless the guy really did something truly high crimes and misdemeanors, they got the smoking gun and all this stuff. They don't have to make up anything like old Adam Schiff for brains did the other day. I mean, that guy started reading his own version of that memo or that transcript, and he was saying a bunch of lies, okay? He was exaggerating it. Now, in the middle of a congressional investigation, and you do that, I could see him doing it on a Saturday Night Live show. I could see him doing it if he's talking to somebody like Jimmy Kimmel or what's the other guy's name? I can't remember. Anyway, they need late night talk show hosts. Okay, that's different. But what he did was almost tantamount to like getting on an airplane and kidding around. Oh, I got this homemade bomb. You should see it in my suitcase. You can't do that. You can't do that. Okay? It's not funny. And to say that in the congressional record is just, I think it's totally irresponsible, and that guy should be removed from office. Okay? But unfortunately, this president will be reelected. I'm like 90% sure, only because, and I have heard other people say it, but people don't listen. And if you know, ask, name the Democratic candidates that are running for president right now, with the exceptions. Well, you might be able to. Well, actually, maybe you need to start asking who are the ones who've already dropped out. Do you even remember them? You know, all I'm saying is that the I think part of the strategy of Donald J. Trump is that he dominates the media, even though it's negative attention. It's for the most part, it's all about him. I mean, he literally, if somebody says it and it makes through, he's sucking all the oxygen out of the room, and none of the other candidates, whether Democrat or even Republicans, one or two guys that are Republicans are going to try to run against him, I guess. I don't know. But you know, the only way I think that people will be able to ever effectively beat him is by ignoring him. And for some reason, he just is the master at stirring up things. Like he's that guy. He stirs it up, you know, and and every time, you know, it's like when I was a school teacher, I had a couple of kids, and I finally learned it late in my first year of teaching, that the more attention I gave to these kids, even if it was negative attention, that was just adding fuel to the fire. It wasn't until like the last quarter of the school year, I had these two little boys, and they were just constantly acting up and everything. And I finally learned that, okay, I basically just kind of cut them off and put them by themselves and give them some assignments to do and ignore them for the rest of the day. I mean, you know, they get their work done, they do it, but they kind of like, I don't want to say ostracize them, but, you know, I kind of just didn't put any more fuel to the fire. And they finally, towards the end, they kind of like, don't you like me anymore? And I said, well, of course I do. Why? Well, you don't like discipline me, or you're not interacting with me anymore. And I said, yeah, I am. I said, but I'm doing it on my terms, not yours. And they kind of realized that, you know, every time they would do some little antic thing, and I would have to, and I call it, you know, oh, you can't do that now. Don't do that now. Be a good boy, you know, sit down now. And well, I just said, okay, you're done. And do this assignment and be quiet. We're done here. I'm not talking to you, you know. And wow. Change. We're talking about a change. Yeah. So, you know, people want to keep letting Trump stir things up and keep dealing with him. I mean, he's going to win. But I guess, I don't know. I mean, I think there are people in this world that they want to, it's like the same kind of people that wanted to go to Area 51 and see the aliens. I think a lot of those people are these people that live, I don't know if they're on the fringe or they're I wouldn't say they're cuckoos. I don't want to be pejorative, but they just have a different way of looking at things. And instead of just, you know, just living their lives and not trying to force everybody else to accept their version of reality, and just kind of like, just live your life. Life's too short to try to, you know, I'm going to be angry and mad because people don't accept me or believe the way I do. Well, good luck. There's a whole bunch of people that don't agree with me, and I, for the most part, I don't want to say I don't care, but I don't care. You know, it's like, well, okay, you got your way of life, you got your way of looking at things, I have my way of looking at things, and maybe we can, you know, agree to disagree, but that's about it. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people, a lot of young people especially, I think, who want to usher in a new emergence of some kind. They're kind of like waiting for, whether it's, you know, the aliens of, you know, Area 51, or they're waiting for some alien spaceship to land, or they're waiting for some, whatever it is, they're waiting for some kind of this second, kind of this emerging reality to occur. And, you know, and a lot of them, you know, they want to believe in globalism, and they want to get rid of religion, you know, and, you know, good old John Lennon song, you know. Well, don't know if that's ever going to happen. That's why I tell people, live your life, you know, the best you can. Enjoy your life, love people, try to be respectful of people. You know, we're not all going to agree, you know. And somebody said, oh my gosh, this impeachment thing's going to be right in the middle of Thanksgiving. Or that's going to be in the middle of Thanksgiving, you know, sitting around a table kind of like this, and people are going to be, unfortunately, probably getting angry and upset. Some, you know, I mean, that's just the way it is, unless you all agree and you're all pretty much the same political philosophy, I guess. And anyway, I think it's kind of sad, and it's frustrating. Again, I think my analogy of divorce probably holds true. When you hate somebody so much that you can never see anything redeemable about them, I think that's a real sad state to be in, because, you know, it's all predicated upon the animus that so many people have against one person. They allow this one person to color their whole lives because they're angry. It's like, well, you know, unfortunately, politics is a very ephemeral thing. So whether or not President Trump gets reelected, you know, he's got at best 4 more years, 4.5 more years, I guess, if he gets reelected. And then there'll be somebody else. Maybe it'll be another liberal person. I don't know. But I do think that there are a lot of people that want to see the end of things like, you know, whether it's the United States, America, and they kind of want to go into this one world government, this one world religion even. And it's kind of scary because, you know, growing up, we were kind of told that those were the prophecies of the end of times, you know, this one world government, you know, the mark of the beast, and you won't be able to buy or sell anything unless you have the mark of the beast on your forehead or on your hands or something, you know. And it seems like that we might be moving towards that. And a lot of young people today, they want, you know, politicians are promising them just bread and circuses. You know, we're going to give you everything you want. Well, first of all, a thinking person realizes you can't do that. You don't have the power to do that. And unfortunately, if you look at history, communism has been built upon the foundation of millions of dead people. So all I can tell you is that try to live your life the best you can. Take one day at a time. Try to treat people fairly. Try to be good to yourself. And that's all you can do, really, at the end. Life is short, very short. And, you know, sometimes, you know, it's sad, but people do die and they go away and make room for other people. So, you know, it's part of that life cycle. So anyway, I think life's just too short to let yourself be so consumed with so much hatred and anger over one person. I have to say that I'm probably a marginalized person as far as I'm not, you know, I don't, I'm just, more junk there. What happened there? I don't want to get this tablecloth all messed up. This is a nice tablecloth. Oops. But, you know, I don't see a lot of problems with President Trump. I mean, I just don't. You know, I think he's doing the best he can for the most part. Is he a perfect human being? Heck no. You know, is he somebody who some people find to be very repugnant because of his personality, maybe? Yeah, to some extent. He was, he's just the kind of guy that a lot of guys wanted to be, you know, rich and, you know, womanizing and of course, the thing about Trump is it's interesting. He never was a drinker or a smoker. So, you know, even though he's probably suffers from diabetes and some other health issues, I wouldn't be surprised. Because he hadn't smoked and drank, he's going to probably outlive a lot of people. Just saying. Sorry. You know, unfortunately, those of us who have imbibed in our lives and even pipe smoking is probably not the most healthiest thing in the world. Better than probably cigarettes for sure, but they do say that if you drink and smoke, it's going to take it's going to take years off of you. And the more you do it, the more years are going to be taken off. So all I can say is that, you know, the man has, you know, he's got good lungs probably. He's got a good liver. Those are pretty important organs to have if you're going to live long. Okay. He needs to probably look at his diet and really think about losing a lot of weight. That would probably be a good thing for him if he could do it. But for the most part, you know, I know some people, oh, maybe he'll drop dead of a heart attack. Well, yeah, that could happen to any one of us. Young people too, you know, not just old people or middle-aged people, but young people too. Look at those athletes that are like super fit and they've been playing basketball and then all of a sudden they walk off the court and they fall over dead. Happens. It happens. So anyway, I guess you know, and instead of trying to argue the president's corner like I have in the past, I just kind of say, well, you know, it's just the same old poop a different day. You know, this Ukrainian thing is just another. It's just another situation in the ongoing drama and saga. That's all it is. And I just think that what would have happened if we could have, you know, worked with him and tried to, you know, negotiate and compromise and do the things that really make things better and not worse, instead of all the resistance and the hatred and the anger. In the end, it's just like, again, like as I was going to say earlier about the divorce thing. You know, when you really have that kind of anger and hatred towards another human being, and like in divorce court, it always ends badly. Even if you get a lot of money out of it, it always ends badly. So, I've rambled on way too long. This is one of my longer videos. But it's my first inaugural video inside the new rectory. Hopefully next video, I'll do you a little home tour and show you all the new digs, okay? Well, thank you for watching. If you watched this long, I appreciate it. Appreciate you, and thank you for watching. And I guess I'm going to just say, light up your world as I normally do, and light up your pipe and have a nice, wonderful, warm evening. God bless you.